Another video. We just got videos on videos on videos. I'm gonna have nothing to watch tomorrow. Do white people experience racism? Personally, I.
Say you wanna slide here at the midnight in the trap, I don't know what the rich like. You say you wanna come through, cause you shit right. She wanna try nigga, she don't want a rich guy. He a shooter, he don't even hold a stick right. I wanna know you had to choose, would you switch sides? I get a stick on me, I don't gotta get mine. Then you wanna side in mid.
Middle ground is a social experiment that brings humans with opposing beliefs or experiences together. These discussions
Do white people experience racism? Yes or no?
may contain viewpoints that are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
Two things can be true. You can have had a very hard time. Privilege is not just limited to white people, but to say white privilege doesn't exist from a historical context, to me, is respectfully absurd.
I am mowing down these videos right now.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. White people also experience racism.
No. The fuck you want? Okay. Okay.
I think
Chat, pull up. Pull up.
Definitely not a one race against the other. It goes all ways. It's not. It doesn't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're Asian. It doesn't matter. You could experience racism no matter what color your skin is.
I think that people have a propensity to kind of have an aversion towards what's different from them. I've been called a cracker before. I've been told I was going to get beaten up because I was white. I would argue that on a systemic level, white people don't experience racism the same way a lot of other races experience racism. But I would say on an individual level, any group is capable of being racist towards another group as well.
So the argument against this position frequently is that racism is a system, not a sentiment in the United States. And I agree with that really strongly, but at the same time I'm Jewish and racially white and have definitely experienced racism, discrimination. The paradox is that most of that racism is coming from white people or...
So, Chuck, what can you say about the last girl? She said that she experienced racism because they said that they're gonna beat her up because she's white. What do y'all say about that?
Society, white nationalism, etc.
I'm not gonna say it, D's. No.
So, I'm Dane, and I'm Jewish. I'm proud of being Jewish and being connected to an ancient religion and culture, but I'm not proud to be white, I would say. White privilege, I think, is an aspect of American society. I think it exists. When I go to a job interview, I don't have to worry about my hairstyle or the way I normally speak or my name. And that's something perhaps a black person would have to worry about.
Can they disagree or step
The thing
forward?
is like, you don't have to hate being white. You know, love your skin color. Don't hate being white. No, love yourself, bro. Like, you don't gotta hate being white just for us. Love yourself, man.
So I just want to say that I want to validate everyone's individual experiences. I do also believe that white people experience bias, prejudice, but the reason I did not step forward is because by definition, racism is tied to power and economics. You talked about systemic discrimination. I don't feel white people experience racism by definition and by actual concept.
What is the definition of racism and who wrote that definition?
In the late 1500s, early 1600s, there was slavery. They started bringing over slaves, but there was really no concept of classifying people in terms of race. It's just we're bringing these people over and they're slaves. What ended up happening is some of the slave owners who were white started mixing with some of the slaves. And now here you have these black people that look like the people that are owning things. So they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. The theory of race was formed to classify a group of people who would be lesser than and have less economic power, and this would be imposed against them for hundreds of years. So
yo, what the fuck is that sound? Oh, they're doing construction outside. I'm hearing like this ache in my back.
Has not been the white experience in this country, but it does not invalidate the things that white people experience. It's just not racism by definition. Is it prejudice? Is it bias? Is it wrong? Yes.
They got some fake ass eyebrows. God damn.
Racism by definition. Is it prejudice? Is it bias? Is it?
That nigga looks like Giga Chad. Wait, someone pull up Giga Chad. Someone spam up Giga Chad. God, we found him. We found the original creator of Giga Chad, bro.
Wrong. Yes.
Mine is simple. If one person treats another person differently because of the color of their skin, to me, that's racism.
Wow.
I will tell you that I was stopped by the police plenty of times when I was a young man. And I will also tell you that I then decided to spend 35 years as a policeman.
Looks like she's
I'll tell you that I stopped
great mom.
lots of kids
Do it? Wow.
coming home from school. Depending on who it was that I stopped, the first thing out of their mouth would be, "You only stopped me because I'm black." And I would say,
Damn right.
"You're driving a sports car with a back window that's this big. I can't see who's driving, and I stopped you because you're doing 95 and a 55. I had no idea who I was pulling over." And
Okay, nah. If that nigga's doing like Grand Theft Auto, that's different.
now, if I treat you differently because you're black, then I'm a racist. But if I write you the same ticket that I was going to write you before I knew who was behind the wheel, I'm not.
So I'm glad you used that example, and I want to commend you for your service for our country. But I do want to say, because I've actually taught classes for the LAPD and for their cadets about these issues. But what I can say, which is a statistic, and which is also a fact, is that 60% of our prison population,
32% of the population of the U.S. population is represented by Black African Americans. Here, my mic's cutting out, bro. Let me read that again. 32% of the U.S. population is represented by African American Hispanics, compared to 56% of the U.S. incarcerated population of being represented by African Americans. And African Americans are incarcerated at more than 5 times the rate of whites. I mean, that's always been a thing.
population is African American.
Different issue.
Yes, but let me finish, please.
Now, if this video came out when I was learning about this in school, I would have had so many points, but I'm just so tired.
Is African American males, right? When you go into a system and you are kept in that system and you're cycled through probation and there is a systematic sequence of oppression, that's not happening to white males. So it's bigger than just the stop itself. It's the system. My name is Sierra. I'm an actor, a speaker, and a human rights activist. I'm very proud to be African American, to be Black. The challenges that come with being Black, also being a Black woman, are very real. I'm at a place in my life where I'm acknowledging these things are real. Discrimination is real.
Forever.
The systematic oppression of Black people is very real, but I will succeed in spite of that.
The police force is foundationally racist.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I want to start off by saying I don't think that every cop out there today is racist.
Same.
I think there are a lot of them who are really doing good work.
Facts. I got cop friends. Chat. Y'all know about my cop friends. I got one's number right now. Should I call him?
From the establishment of the policing in the United States, that is directly from the slave catchers who were hired to catch runaway slaves and bring them back home.
Yeah, I agree that all cops aren't racist. I had plenty of interactions with police that were fine, but I was told.
God damn. Wait, let me look at Giga Chad. Giga Chad. Wow. Looks just like him.
By a former police officer who was, a cop who decided he didn't want to do that anymore, that, the training is pretty much specialized for only colored people, especially Black people, that if you're around them, they're the most dangerous, so you have to act in certain situations or react in certain situations,
I think I just really want to emphasize that I really think that there are some officers who are white that don't even believe that they're doing anything that may be racially motivated because they're simply doing what they were taught to do.
I come from a police family, and I'd like to add they do offer diversity trainings in the academy. So either it needs to be more extensive, or maybe we need to take it a step back and fix the selection process, because that process could be inherently racist. Hello, my name is Nia, and I am Black. I'm proud of my race because when I look back historically at what people of my...
So when people raid me and I'd be like, hi, I'm Gordo and I'm Black, y'all be putting question marks like, oh, yeah, of course you're Black. Well, but when they say it, come on.
Heritage have gone through, and to see where we are now, it's remarkable, and it definitely pushes me to continue to be resilient and innovative as they were.
Historically, people formed groups, villages. Some people were hunters, some people were farmers, and then you had whoever was going to protect the group. And over hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever it is, that's how we wind up having cops, firemen, armies, and navies. Community policing as a theory.
Oh, you have to say villages.
Well, practice,
be open-minded.
Hiccups when I show up at your house because you and your husband got into it and he beats you up and I'm friends with him. So do I want to take him to jail? He's my friend. Or I live in the same neighborhood and I go deal with some guy who's a really bad dude and he says, I know where you live, I know where your kids are. So to some degree, we have to have a little separation. This is going to get into a hot button topic, but I will tell you that, when I watched the horrible video of George Floyd, I will tell you that I can justify many of the things that happened, but I cannot justify 9 minutes on his neck or back. But what I can also tell you is I, as a policeman, and this is my personal opinion, only two, the officer who was on him for 9 minutes, he probably spent too much time in the same neighborhood dealing with the same problems over and over again that he became jaded.
Isn't that what being a police officer is?
Social service job.
And you're assigned to that district of that community.
But I think you need to move around so that you get to see other things. You don't become that jaded.
The police, no matter what your race is, we have to be integrated all together with the community. And it doesn't have to be community
I'm just sitting back and listening.
But we all have to understand each other.
I ain't trying to say nothing stupid.
Competency would be very helpful. That's my issue. Whether or not the foundations of the police force was or still was racist, now we can change that, but it starts with cops. Like, at the end of the day, it's the bad police officers that are our issue. Not all police officers, but the bad police officers, we need to vet them out, and the good police officers, we need to, encourage them to be amongst the community.
How do we vet them out?
By making the police unions accountable, because I feel like that demographic of officers, they're actually making things a lot worse for the other officers that are actually just trying to do their job. I think that we need to get some type of real accountability that I don't think the police should be policing themselves. So when those cops that aren't upholding their oath, they can be properly removed instead of getting all of these passes.
The bad police officers, I hate the term the bad apple. It's like, no, you're a faulty grenade.
Wow, she really looks mixed. Like, she's Black and she has a white face. Chat, how many corrupt cops do you think is in every district of your city?
Ruining your whole department reputation. I feel like I was held up to higher standards working at Whole Foods sometimes. I got 3 chances out, but Derek had so many
17 reports before George Floyd.
17 reports. It's like, get him out of there. What are you guys doing?
Do you think police officers, and I genuinely am curious, do you think they should get paid more?
I think police officers should get paid more. I also think police officers should do less. Why do I get sent to all of the mental health cases? Why do I get sent
I agree.
to all of these things? Now, I'll tell you why I get sent to them, is because we'll stop sending the police there, and then something horrible and tragic is going to happen, and they're going to say, why didn't we have a cop there?
Do you think we need to have different divisions like mental health and just other, or maybe even specific police that are just for the schools? Like, do you think that that would help with a lot of the issues?
No. We do have specialized police officers in certain things, but if we keep specializing and we get so compartmentalized that I can't go, I'm right across the street from you when you're screaming for help. Yeah. That's not what I do. Got to go find the guy that...
When I was in working at my workforce in Cambridge, I was at the police department, and majority of them are black, which is crazy. Like, I never seen like a lot of black officers in my city. So that was pretty cool to like see.
That deals with screaming women or whatever it is. My name is Jimmy, and I am a retired police officer. I'm not going to tell you that there are no racists on the police department. I don't think blacks were historically treated fairly.
Buddy, no. Don't say blacks. African American. Okay?
Under the law, I think that we have made great progress, great strides. I think we have to continue to get better, but I also think we probably see racism to this day in places where it maybe isn't.
I sometimes wish I was a different race.
Only time I thought I wanted to be a different race is when like only time I wanted to be white was when like them Disney Channel shows and them TV shows showing the white dude getting the girl and the black guy just laying in the back in on the covers, you know what I'm saying? Like those types of shit, you know, like don't tell me I'm the only one. I know some of y'all wanted to be white back then.
I'd say not so much these days, but
I'm not the only one.
Definitely 100% when I was a kid, I wish I was white. I grew up with my white mom. I didn't see my black side of my family after a certain point. I grew up in a small town. I was often the only student of color, definitely the only black kid. And I had this kinky hair. I couldn't figure out how to work with it. And everybody also would call me an Oreo. It was always just being other.
Sorry.
And so being a kid, you just want to fit in. And for me, I wanted to be white. I just wanted to look like my mom, wanted the nice straight hair. And I just wanted to feel like included.
Yeah, I remember in elementary school, like I was thinking,
I didn't laugh. All right.
No man is ever gonna like me because I freaking look like this. And I just remember hating my hair because as soon as
she really does
hit,
look
it just blew up, and people kept on asking, do you even need a pillow to sleep at night? I'm like, I can't stand these questions. I can't do this. I'm Jordan, and I am biracial. I think being biracial is definitely...
I hate y'all light-skinned niggas. Only reason but why y'all ruined my middle school year and my middle school crushes back when this light-skinned versus dark-skinned thing was going on, and y'all niggas was winning every single year. And I was so mad.
Definitely like living in the in-between, because culturally, yes, I grew up white and I completely know that. Like I was raised by my white mother, but then there's also a part where race is perceived, and it's what people put on you and how they respond to you in your everyday life.
It's so interesting because I grew up in predominantly non-Black communities, and for some reason still like being the minority at home in the family as well as
they really
in
were
in the
running
world,
shit back then.
I was always so
Crazy.
proud to be Black. I actually really yearned to be around other Black people. So thankfully in college that was an experience where even though we made up a small community, I was still able to, okay, this is like people that look like me.
I was in the military for 6 years, And I was usually the only Jew in my battalion. And I think that isolation produced a sort of pride and understanding of who I am and where I come from. So
I have never wanted to be anything different than what I was.
Not gonna lie, when I saw Justin Bieber, I always wanted to have hair like his, like the little bowl cut shit, the little. I could do this all the time.
But that's because I really never thought about it. And to your all's point, maybe, I don't know, but maybe people treated you that way because there is this sense of wanting something that I haven't ever had before. I'd love to have a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? It's different than any other car I've ever had. It's different than what I grew up with.
I think personally for me, I mean, I was actually adopted by white parents in very diverse family.
That's why you sat down in the first question.
6 out of the 8 of us are all adopted, all different races. I kind of have my own story apart from everyone else. And the same for everyone else that was adopted in my family. They have their own story. I always had pride in it, but at the same time, my parents are my parents no matter the color of their skin. It's the people who raised me, and they raised me just to not look at it through the lens of race, and that's what I've always done, and I've never wanted to change my race at all. I'm Joshua, Black. I've never experienced racism. I've experienced stuff from people from my own race. I grew up in a white family by white parents. I was constantly called whitewashed. It upset me, but I didn't let it get to me. Being Black in America, to me, is just being an American in America, just like any other person.
That is where your parents fucked up. That's exactly where your parents fucked up. That statement right there. That statement alone just proves that your parents fucked up teaching you about being Black in America.
White privilege exists.
I mean, America was founded by white people, for white people at the time.
Exactly why he's whitewashed. Exactly. That's exactly why.
Institutions were designed to benefit white people. So, I mean, of course, white privilege lingers into society today. You can't deny that.
Where I would argue with you just a little bit is I think we throw out the term white privilege far too often for things that aren't necessarily white privilege.
I've got to agree with you completely on that one. I think there's generational white privilege for sure, but I think now it's almost used as a reason to not try as hard. If we stop doing that, just really like work for it and not use white privilege as an excuse, then we could really.
You can have a nigga work. You can have a Black man work 4 times as hard as more as the white man, and they'll still get the job over you. I don't like this nigga.
Get somewhere as in the Black community.
I would respectfully disagree. Like, all of that is true to an extent. Like, I graduated university during the pandemic, the height of it. I went abroad for university. I got 2 degrees. I graduated with honors. Learned to speak 2 languages. I should have been able to get a job right away, right? No. It took me 9 months before I was able to get a job. Had to go completely outside of my field.
Exactly.
But then when I looked at all of my white colleagues who were in my program, all of them were hired immediately.
I need to introduce you to my daughter. She's white. Took her a long time.
And I'm not saying that. I'm saying
and
just.
she didn't get her job in what her degree is in either.
I respect that, but my point is saying me comparing myself to the white students who were directly in my position, they're successful, I'm not.
This country was founded upon white people coming and then putting in act Jim Crow and other laws saying that if you are not white, you are genetically inferior. You are not even a person. And some of those laws are still, and those systems are still in place today. 2 things can be true. You can have had a very hard time. Privilege is not just limited to white people, but to say white privilege doesn't exist from a historical context, to me, is respectfully absurd.
Something that I learned about recently is the privilege that exists in the medical field, specifically relating to the birthing process in giving epidurals. There was a study that's recently, or was debunked, that said that Black people have a higher tolerance for pain which then has been falsely used by people who help support births in being hesitant to provide the epidurals for Black women giving birth. A lot of women die in childbirth. I don't know the exact statistics, so
Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related cause than what white women. Multiple factors contribute to these disparities, such as variations in quality, healthcare, underlying chronic conditions, structural racism, and implicit bias.
More likely Black women are to die.
Thank you. The fact that I will be taken seriously, more seriously than a Black woman in my place if I should be giving birth at some point, I see that as an absolute privilege. My name is Bryn, and I just graduated, and I'm currently giving hours to becoming a licensed therapist. As a therapist in school, we were taught to approach things with what's called cultural humility. Cultural humility is being curious, and instead of trying to have all the answers, working collaboratively with the client to kind of understand where they're coming from.
I have been fetishized for my race.
Huh? What I mean? What I mean?
You know, the standard one. Oh, you're pretty for a Black girl. I'm like, that's not a compliment.
Oh.
That's so weird to say. And like one of the go-to pickup lines for men, they're like, oh my God, what are you? I'm like, this is not cute. I'm tired of having this conversation. This is lame. Yes, I know I have green eyes, hazel eyes. Like, let's move on.
I think Black women in particular are just extremely sexualized and fetishized. Every day I go out, I'm making sure that my outfit is, okay, because I don't want to draw certain attention. The way I wear my hair, if it's in an afro, if it's
got you,
braids, I'm going to get treated differently.
My sister had a C-section. She told doctors that she could feel her. She told doctors that she could feel her lower half. She was obviously supposed to be numb, and doctors were like, "Nah, you're fine," and cut into her. She felt the surgeon slice into her belly, and then they upped the anesthesia. Then they gave her too much, and it got to the baby's brain. Yeah, so it's like they just do it without any type of like caution, or like they just do it. They just say, you know what, this Black woman's having a baby. Let's just do what we gotta do. Don't give a fuck about how much we're gonna give her. Don't give a fuck about how much she needs and the help that she needs. We're just gonna get this baby out and go on about our day and give them the bill.
Single day, something happens.
So there's a form of positive anti-Semitism where Jews are perceived as like being put together, coming from money, being doctors, lawyers, and women are attracted to those sort of things.
Yo, y'all bar mitzvahs is crazy.
All Jewish men are circumcised. Some women have that preference. So I've definitely experienced it, but I feel like it's a sort of subtle, trivial thing. Like it never really bothered me, but it's occurred nonetheless.
Yeah, I've had experiences in high school, college. People ask me to stop me, mainly women. Like, oh, are you Egyptian? Or are you Black in this or Black in that? There's always something.
You look
something
like
and
a pharaoh.
Let them know what I am, and they're like, oh, that's exotic or something crazy. My name is Dino, and I am biracial. I don't want.
No, your name is Dino. Stop it.
I'm like split between being Black or white. I acknowledge that I'm mixed and I'm biracial, but for the most part, growing up, I was always considered Black. I consider myself Black. My family did as well. So I don't think we should live in a colorblind society, but I also don't think we should stay stuck and feel like we can't move forward and still thrive and accomplish things because of.
I know, like he came from Pharaoh descent for real, no cap. He really did. He really did, bro. If he's not this, I don't know what he is, bro. He most definitely comes from Pharaoh descent, bro.
Of our skin color and where we live in America.
I just have a question for everyone who stepped forward. I'm just curious how that's like. What's it like?
Exhausting.
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah,
it is
Black
exhausting.
women historically have a really interesting relationship with desirability. culturally it seems as we're not desired. And then when we are, we're being fetishized. So it's like, okay, we're usually not desired, but now we are. Am I supposed to lean into this fetishization?
I think just
what pisses me off is like how niggas will prefer a lighter woman than like a dark-skinned woman, and it's kind of so fucked up on how they do that, because they would not even like look at you first, or like give you the light of day, and just give lighter women all the attention.
You know, we deal with certain things every day, specifically being a Black woman, being fetishized. It's interesting.
It's like, especially back in middle school. Middle school was terrible. Middle school was terrible, bro.
Professional, and I don't give any attention to that at all. That kind of energy. Then I'm an angry.
Cause like middle school, all dark skins in middle school. Well, in my middle school was dark. Like we was like dark. So like we had no type of love. None. Zip is there. Nothing.
Black woman. So I think that it's just really
you can't win.
It does feel like that. So yeah, that you can't win sometimes.
Yeah, and there's also a flip side to it. It's like for me specifically, I'm light skinned amongst majority dark skinned people, and people will deem me or deem other light skinned people as a certain way, as either weaker or less than, or just like, okay, you're lighter than, so we're going to be so pro-Black that we're not going to consider you as one of us.
Exactly that, Sparta.
Well, that like touches just on beauty standards in the Black community, and that's colorism. Like I've even been told
colorism is a differential treatment based on skin color, especially favoritism towards those with lighter skin tone and mistreatment of exclusion of those with darker skin tone. Exactly what I'm saying. Typically among those of the same racial group or ethnicity. So now, when the darker skinned woman becomes elegant and beautiful and is posting herself and loving herself, that's when them niggas that didn't give them the light of day start chasing them. Y'all dark skinned woman, do y'all thing for real. I'm proud of y'all.
you're beautiful, you're not Black. You know, it's just like these little things.
Or you must be mixed with something,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. My name's Christina, and I'm biracial. I have been fetishized for the color of my skin on both sides. You know, Black men will be really into me because I'm light skinned, or other men who are not Black might be into me because I am that Black girl, but maybe I'm not too Black, and that for whatever reason is appealing. Being deemed as exotic or something other is just very problematic, and that plays into a lot of issues of colorism within the Black community at large.
We need reparations for the Black community.
Yeah, give it to us, please. I'm broke. Please, I need a new PC.
I don't think people need like individualized like paychecks. Like I don't think that's gonna like work. But I think.
Oh no, I'll take paychecks. I don't know what she's talking about. She's half white. Stop it.
Use it, building jobs there, more education there, like more opportunities would do so much. Like that's how I see it should be.
Anytime that Black communities in the U.S. try to, you know, pull themselves up by the bootstraps.
I have this guy call me Chocolate Drop. Any food-related name, to be honest. Whenever he messaged me and then offered to pay me to just sit there on a FaceTime call. Am I loud? I'm not loud. Oh, am I peeking? I'm peeking. I see a lot of like TV shows where it's like the white guy trying to be together, like trying to stay with the Black girl, but then the Black girl has like problems with the white guy, but the white guy never even started it, and then at the end they end up like just loving each other. You know, that's good. Good.
They were attacked. Like I think it was in Tulsa. They bombed this.
The Black Wall Massacre took place on May 31st, and June 1st, 1921, when mobs of white residents, some of whom were given weapons by the city officials, attacked Black people, their homes, and their businesses, Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. This was a terrible time.
City. Black Wall Street, it was completely destroyed. So again, something needs to be done.
When the Civil War ended, there was a representative from Ohio, I can't remember his name, but he was a radical Republican and advocated for the phrase 40 acres and a mule for every...
40 acres and a mule was a part of a Special Fields Order number 15, a wartime order proclaimed by Union General William Sherman on January 16, 1865, during the American Civil War, to allot land to freed families with plots of land no longer than 40 acres.
Emancipated slave. So there was supposed to be reparations, and there never was.
Like 150
and I think
a
especially
call,
as a Jewish person,
and you really
Jews
understand when I said
reparations
hell
for
no?
the Holocaust and are still receiving them. And in
Only
my
in JoJo
mind,
City?
there's no amount of money that will ever undo the wrong of the Holocaust.
He looks good in that shirt,
All
bro.
the money in
He
the
looks,
world will never
Chad,
be
can we just say he looks good in that shirt?
I think the idea and principle of reparations is good. Logistically, I don't know how it would happen.
This is some random shit, but there's a channel that's waiting room. That's
I just
a
wanted
waiting
to say
room
the reason
for
I stayed
Aiden.
back was because I wasn't entirely
What?
sure
What are you talking
what
about?
was meant by reparations.
Like on Discord?
But your example of the Holocaust, I would say that I agree.
Similar reason, when I think of reparations, I think of something similar to a stimulus check. My worry is, with the lack of financial literacy, will we actually make strides? So I would love the idea of investing money into programs in underserved communities.
I'm not drooling all over niggas. I can't just say it when a nigga looks good. Alright, bro.
But fear that even if we did have the money, without that generational knowledge of how to take care of our finances, that it would just deplete and defeat the purpose.
But even if that were to happen,
On
though, I
Twitch?
still think that would still be the right step. We'll give these people the funds
waiting
or
room.
whatever. We'll give them our promise, and if they float or sink or whatever, that's on them. At least we as a country took the right step.
I'm all for money going to the community. I am for that because the communities right now are the way they are because of things in the past. But to give out checks to individual people,
Not gonna lie, I don't know if this is a crazy idea, but Call of Duty should make a game back during the slavery time. I feel like that would be pretty cool.
Learning from the past and then still getting caught up in the past. I mean, if I had a time machine, I could go back in time and be like, hey, you never gave us the 40 acres and a mule. I would be all for that, and I would get on that for the people who were affected and actually went through slavery. But in today's age, no one's experienced it and gone through it. Yes, the communities are taking hit by that, but so I mean, I've never.
No.
You don't think your ancestors experienced slavery?
I think they do, but I haven't. I've never been in it, so why should I get a check from somebody else who never put it? You should be going way back.
When I say pretty cool, I just mean Call of Duty's running out of ideas. They can have the green light for that.
So what about the people who are the descendants of the slave owners who are still reaping the financial benefits of your ancestors who slaved in those fields for literally generation after generation? You don't think that during that time, your great-grandfather could have been building a business that could be flourishing by now, and you would have a multi-million-dollar franchise as they do off the backs of others? You don't think that deserves some rectification for you in the present time?
To be honest,
the nigga stuck.
No, because it's something that happened in the past. Again, I haven't experienced it. I'm doing fine right now. I'm doing fine, and I'm not going to be all upset over somebody else's ancestors who I don't even know who enslaved my ancestors. I don't need it. I have no reason to have it.
So for me personally, I'm not upset about it, but I do feel my grandfather, on his side, they were the first family in the state of Texas to actually file for reparations. And for me, I'm succeeding in spite of that. But to this gentleman's point, when the government says, hey, we're gonna do a thing, obviously the government in itself saw the weight wrong, just as the German government did. I think if I want to buy 90 gold chains, that's my business. I think it would be unfortunate, but I think that if I'm entitled to something, I think it should be in the same fashion that the people of Jewish descent got it. I think it should be in the same fashion that the people that are Japanese descent got it. So you might think it doesn't affect you, but overall, I think that We have
Wait,
been
Jewish people got
greatly
reparations?
impacted by slavery, even up to current. I just choose not to focus on it nonstop so it doesn't become something that holds me back. But I definitely think it's something that we're entitled to.
What kind of like throws me off with Joshua, I hope he has kids and the kids are raised around black people that can teach him, because it doesn't seem like Joshua could teach him.
Thank you.
Great, guys.
Oh, they both got reparations.
Thank you. Thank you. I really
Recently got reparations. How much did they get? How much did they get? Really? Really? Josh is very misguided. Excuse me. When did y'all states integrate schools? My high school didn't integrate till like the late 1970s, and my mom was one of the first or second classes of students to graduate from there. If I see, when did Cambridge schools integrate? 1980s. The 1980s. 1980s. So yeah, that's what I got. But